Hello everyone, I'm Mustafa. Today I continue to bring you a detailed summary of the Chainsaw Man series. After Denji was killed by the zombie devil, Pochita sacrificed himself and gave his heart to bring Denji back to life, and thus Chainsaw Man was born. Without further ado, let's begin today's summary.
Denji remembered Makima's confession and smiled with love. And when he turned to confess to her, he found that she had disappeared. Suddenly, her voice came from behind him and she pointed to a nearby building saying, "This is the headquarters of the Devil Hunters in Tokyo." When they entered, she told him that the number of hunters exceeds 1,000. But the Public Safety Division has the best benefits. Denji didn't care, as he started imagining his romantic future with Makima. And while he was wishing to do things like that, Makima interrupted him to hand him the public safety uniform and take him to meet his new colleagues. Standing next to the television, there was a young man who looked serious and carried a short sword on his back. This is Hayakawa Aki, a senior colleague who joined the team 3 years ago. Makima introduced him to Denji, then arranged for Denji to go on patrol with Hayakawa Aki. Denji felt a bit confused and annoyed as he thought he would be working with Makima in the future. How could it be any other way? Aki heard Denji's confusion, then grabbed him by the collar and said, "You're not on Makima's level. Come on, let's go on patrol." "No, Makima." Denji resisted strongly. Makima watched the scene, then approached and touched Denji's forehead saying, "If you do well, you'll work with me, so do your best." As usual, Tokyo was bustling with life and the noise of passers-by amid the crowds. Denji asked Aki if Makima had a boyfriend. Denji fell silent after Aki completely ignored him. He repeated his question, but still got no response. Suddenly, Aki asked him to follow and they reached a narrow alley filled with stuff. In the next moment, Aki Hayakawa landed a direct punch to Denji's face. He moved toward Denji, who was wiping blood from his nose and looking at him, then kneed him in the stomach, knocking him to the ground. After that, he took out a cigarette and lit it slowly. Aki looked at Denji and said, "Quit your job. If you dare to come tomorrow, I'll keep beating you up." Denji didn't understand why, so Aki explained that it was for his own good. If he kept facing devils so carelessly, he would definitely die. Many people joined the job for money and ended up dead. Only those with strong motivation survive, Aki said. "I think you became a devil hunter for women. Isn't that right?" Denji immediately confessed. Aki said, "Looks like I beat up the right guy." Then he threw his cigarette, letting it fall on Denji and spat on him to put it out. "I'll contact Makima and tell her you ran away because you were scared of the devils." He said that as he turned his back and walked toward Hayakawa without looking back. Then he lit another cigarette and kept smoking in silence. But in the next moment, the blow he received from behind suddenly twisted his serious expression and he fell to the ground. "What a guy, so concerned about the new generation," Denji said as he approached Aki to attack him again. And as he explained that he only hits men in their sensitive areas, he was already landing strong blows on Aki there. After he finished, he started panting from exhaustion, and Denji said, "Yeah, I've grown up until now. And today was the first time I ever had udon and grilled sausages. And the first time someone treated me like a human being. And the first time someone invited me to eat. This life to me feels like a dream. Even though my actions may seem silly, I could sacrifice my life just to keep living this way." Denji looked at him innocently, but he immediately backed away from the idea of sacrifice, realizing that his life was no longer his alone. Zhao Zhongqiu stood up while holding his trousers. Then he rushed straight at Denji and landed another punch on his face. But during his counterattack, he didn't realize that the lower part of his body would once again receive an indescribably painful blow. "Makima would never be interested in troublemakers like you." "Huh? What did you say? Aren't you also interested in her?" As they faced off, Zhao Zhongqiu cursed at the doctor and mocked his punches, then collapsed helplessly. Denji felt sorry for the suffering Aki. Later, Denji claimed to Makima that Aki had been attacked by the testicle devil, but Aki immediately called him out on the lie. Makima didn't care, but instead asked about their relationship. Even though both of them denied getting along, Makima saw it differently and decided to assign Denji to Aki's unit. Denji was flustered, while Aki was annoyed by the increasing number of bothersome people in his unit and refused to add another stranger. But Makima insisted that she wanted to try a different system since the unit was established. Denji didn't understand their conversation and looked sleepy. As for Aki, he didn't know who Denji was. At that point, Makima told Aki that Denji looks human but can transform into a devil. Denji then started boasting about his abilities in front of him. When Aki heard that, he seemed a bit skeptical. He had only ever heard of such things in rumors. Denji is very special, so he needs to be treated in a special way. Makima looked at Aki and said, "If Denji resigns or commits any violation, consider him a devil and deal with him immediately." Denji was stunned to hear that, and Aki watched him with concern. Denji furrowed his brow in confusion. He meant Makima, who calmly told him, "What this means is that you will obey my orders for the rest of your life. And for easier supervision, we have to live together. If you try to run away, I can kill you immediately." Amidst the crowds, Aki said this. But Denji, who was behind him, didn't respond, and the two of them continued walking in silence. After they walked for a while, Denji stopped, his head lowered. Denji asked Aki in confusion, "Is Makima a bad person?" Aki replied to him, "If that's what you're thinking, then it's better for you to give up on Makima as soon as possible, since you're a devil and she hasn't killed you yet. That in itself is a blessing for us devil hunters." After Denji heard Aki's words, he asked again, "So does that mean she's a good person then?" Aki replied without turning around, "Of course she's a good person. She saved my life." Denji fell silent again and remembered that moment when Makima hugged him, and he recalled the confession. A smile of admiration appeared on his lips, feeling a comfort that erased his confusion and annoyance. "I want to hug Makima again. What did you say?" This is the summary of episode 3 of Chainsaw Man. Support us with a like and follow for more.